Okay, we're live again, everybody. Um, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but Rocket was the clear winner in the vote that I had a few minutes ago. I let it run for about 20 minutes longer than I expected to. You guys can check it out. There's the layout for this rocket. Um, this one's kind of light, so we're gonna have to really draw it in to get everything going. But it's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be cool because this is one of my favorite characters, especially out of the modern Marvel Disney control situation. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. But anyway, we're going to hang out here for about the next 30 minutes or so, and I'm going to get on this thing, and we're going to go from there. Tilt some of that light off in here so that we can see a little more. There we go. Now you guys will be able to see a lot more of it. Okay. Making a little adjustment here. Bear with me just a second. There we go. Okay. Now you guys will be able to see. I had too many lights on today. These are just going to be really simple, old school Rob Liefeld style zip blasters. You know, the big old, as my nephew would say, the big honking lasers. So, just to give him something to shoot here. you kind of have to be careful with Rocket because a lot of people tend to make him look like a cat if they go too far with it. So always be sure and understand the elements of what you're drawing as character-wise, because you'll pay for it, especially if you get it in front of an editor. They'll be like, he looks like an angry cat, and you'll be in trouble. So, while I'm doing this video, I left the poll running for you guys, so you can see what's going on. I actually enjoyed it, man. Nick's asking about the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I really, really enjoyed it. It's typical Disney. I mean, they had a great storyline with it, solid, solid effects. You just could not tell it was streamless. Well, it streamed perfectly. It was seamless. But yeah, it was awesome, man. I really enjoyed it. Had a good time with it. It was seamless. The villain was really well done. It was no spoilers or anything, but it was Ego. So they did a great job with it as far as that goes. But if I sound a little tired today, it's because it's true. I was up until 4 a.m. Knocking out a client book. So, pretty intense stuff, actually. I love doing this, and I've got some new podcasts recorded, things like that, so you guys are going to get those soon. And a lot of my own comics, so props to that. As long as I can keep everything quiet here in the studio, I'll be able to knock out a bunch of stuff and get you guys moving. Yeah, it was funny, man. I really enjoyed that film. I can't wait to see what they do with the Infinity War, where they're going to see about bringing all that back. It's, man, there's so much speculation around it and wide open. It's crazy. I'm just hoping the next phase comes up and really pops off. But we'll see after this next catch of the films coming out for the Infinity War. We'll see what happens with it. I'm excited. Um, I'm not a real fan of, like I said, and not a real fan of the Disney Marvel Now stuff. But it's just, it's out of my wheelhouse. But I really love the films and the movie universe. So I'm cool with that. I'm trying to get back into the comics, but like I said, right now it's just out of my wheelhouse, so I'll have to wait and see. And I'm going more here with the costume that he got out of nowhere, not necessarily the straight up Guardians film style costume. I'm going with more of what we had in the comic book, which was more of a jumpsuit type situation. Um, it was like an old school space suit kind of deal. If you guys saw that or read any of those comics, so I mean, he had a belt here, and it was very simple. Some people did it lime green, some people painted it yellow, but it's, give or take. I know the combat uniform's a lot more impressive with most fans these days, but that movie rendition isn't just, it's just not what I sketched out today. So I get busted on bad about this right here because when I come along, I do the Kirby style of knees where I make it two segments like this and then come in with a drop shadow and box it out. I had an editor one time tell me, "You're not drawing rocks. It's not the thing. Stop that." I actually find it cool and interesting. So But got to make the boss happy too, though. So mind that, mind that. Otherwise, no one will watch your stuff, and then you'll be streamless. That's a misconception, man. I'm actually a huge fan of Star Wars. Um, I am not a big fan of Clone Wars. Um, that was a weird one for me, but um, that Clone Wars saga stuff is just, there's a lot to it, and I'm not picking on any of it because I think it's great material and great canon for the series and the show. But yeah, I just don't have time to watch it and get into it like I normally would with something like that. So I have to say no, that's not what I'm a fan of right there. The new Star Wars movies have been awesome. I loved Rogue One. Thought it was a great setup, prequel to the original, to New Hope, and yeah, I can't wait for the next one. The Force Awakens was really good. I'm one of the few people that actually got on bandwagon with it and liked it. There's so many new people that just don't. But I'm all right with that too. But no, I'm actually excited for this one because we're gonna get to see Luke again and go from there, man. So we'll see what comes off of it from there. This one's coming along pretty quick. Well, it was part of the progression story, man. The reason they actually killed Solo is for, as far as what the rumor mills are coming out of um, Disney on it and the Lucas camp and whatever. I mean, you guys may hear different, but when I do my podcast and stuff, I hear about it all the time. But take it with a grain of salt. They're saying right now that they killed him off so that they could do the original series of Han Solo and Chewbacca for the new movie that's coming up in the timeline for that. So we'll see what comes of it. I'm hoping it'll be pretty good. Yeah, it's a bummer the character died, but it played in perfectly with what was going on. This new chapter, I think, is going to be more about either the final chapter of the Jedi, or it could reflect on more of Leia and Han's story after what happened in the original three films, where where they went, what happened, and what came to be, that kind of thing. Um, I don't know if we're really ever going to get all that, but we'll see. They seem pretty well set on setting their own standard for the prequels and stuff right now, though. So we'll see what happens. They're telling the pre-story, so maybe we'll get the aftermath later on. I don't normally flesh this out like this because of this problem with inking all the penciling and such, but I'm going to go ahead because it's Rocket. and this one's a little simpler card. I'm going to go ahead and jump on it. Okay. Separate Rocket stripes here. Do a little more on the chin work. I think we about got this thing. You guys are going to have to be sure and vote this evening and tomorrow so that you can see all this stuff happen if you want to see the next character come up that's one that you guys actually picked. Because one of the big problems was nobody was on to vote. And I am not going to map these out as the same. I'm going to do something totally different here. Just because it's interesting. And Rocket, choking up here. Rocket builds up his own weapons, so as you guys know, if you're a fan of it, he builds up his own weapons anyway, so that's one of the cool parts of it is you can do pretty much what you want and not really have to worry about it. And like I said, with these old school style 90s, 80s and 90s style weapons, you can just do the design however you want, and it looks cool. I think this is coming along all right. So instead of that one being a trim under there, I'm going to put one on both sides. Make it pop off a little bit. Make this one a little stranger here. They said a storm was coming in tonight, and it sounds like we've got a little noise going on outside. Like the wind picked up banging around the trees and stuff. That's pretty rough, man. But I'm not as alert as I should be anyway because of the fact that like I said, I stayed up too late working working on some really cool stuff and kind of worn out. Let's see. Even if it's not a modern contemporary costume, I still think it looks neat. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and add in a couple of details here to tweak it up a little bit, make it look a little more contemporary after all, because I just want to add a little more detail to it for you guys. But um, tweaking in those. The cool thing about Rocket's eyebrows, he's got some of the best eyebrows in comics. I really love these things because it's so easy to animate them. I mean, even with his ears up like this, it still gives that laid back groove like they do, and you just show the expression through the eyebrows with him a lot more because he does have eyeballs, but they're not the same as a normal human expression. I have to be more careful with them because they're a little solid. Um, I like to do dark eyes like that very carefully and still leave them open and just come in with color anyway. I just uh, come in and color it with browns or grays or whatever the color is supposed to be as a black. I tweak it. If it's dark brown, I go in with a dark brown and darken that up a little more. Or if I have something that's a black, I'll use a really rich charcoal gray instead and still give it some life and some light like it's liquid. That's one of the big things for me um, to make it really pop off. So with this, we got to do something here. Um, hmm. You guys want me to put him in space? Rocket pack in the sky? What? You guys voted for this one. Tell me what you think. You want to see him out in space? Put a big bubble over his head, or I mean, it's not a contemporary helmet that would be there, but I could put like a '60s style, the '50s or '60s style bubble, or uh, that kind of thing. I don't know, Nick. I really don't know, man. I don't know if they're gonna bring Han back as something like that or not, man. That is so up in the air because it's Disney in control now, not necessarily Lucas, but Disney. So you have to leave that open and keep your mind open because you never know what they're gonna throw at you. With those films, especially Star Wars, they're gonna get all up in your face about it and try to shock you. So we'll see what happens, man. All right. I think that came along all right. I know this looks a little askew back here, but the thing is that he has that whole foot thing going on, like that. So, he's got his foot down here. He got the double bend here, that dog leg thing going on. So that's why it's all folded back like that. It's like, where's his leg? But don't mind that, it's back there. And it's a very aggressive version, but I think we have Rocket. So I'll hold that up a little bit so you guys can see it a little clearer. And we'll move on to the next phase. Thanks for hanging out with me today for a little bit, and thank you guys for the ones that voted especially. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and ink this thing and knock it out here in the next little bit, like you guys have come accustomed to. And we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you're digging these and whatnot, and if you're interested in seeing what comes of this, you know, participating with the background idea, because I don't know if I'm going to put in, like I said, falling in a pit, sky, you know, space, whatever yet, but I'll figure that out and get it out to you guys. Again, thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow.